We have Makayla here too. Yes, we're talking
Hey.
about Crazy Rich Asians. This is very exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really finish it.
Same here.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be fine.
As long as you live in Singapore, it's fine.
Like, oh my god, I was planning to I was gonna read this a few days before, but then we got so busy, and then I
Like full
did
stuff.
not have time for it.
Mhm.
So I picked up the audiobook,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 55%.
More than halfway. Okay.
That's great.
That's
It
really
is
good.
great. It's fantastic. How about you guys? You guys watched the movie. Makayla, did you watch the movie?
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
I've seen
I
the
think
movie
when
as
it first
well.
came out, it was pretty good. Like I feel like the book is more in detail than the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
There's actually a lot of things that I notice when the parts that I actually read that are completely different from the
Mm-hmm.
movie. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously because it's a movie to book adaptation,
Yes.
but then
Mm-hmm.
it's like completely different, and I didn't really realize. Also,
Right.
there's this one
But
part. What were you gonna say?
no, I feel like the movie, like if you haven't read the book, like at least on my experience, and then like you watch the movie, like it still makes sense. But then like if you read the book, like you can notice like the details missing.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
then the flow, it's still there. Like it's
Mhm.
still there.
I
Yeah.
actually, for me, I watched the movie first, and then I'm reading the book.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't. It's interesting to notice the details,
Mm-hmm.
after you
Mhm.
watch the movie. So it's really
Uh-huh.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of the movie?
I liked it. I mean, it didn't show every like all type of Singapore, but like it showed the what they wanted to show, which is
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. Okay, I liked it though.
Well, I like
Mhm.
it better than I thought I would. Like I thought I would not like it just because like I'm not a person who like I prefer other like types of movies instead of like something like Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah,
But then
I
I watched
agree.
it and I was like, "Oh, wait, this is actually so good." Like especially the wedding scene, I started
Yeah.
crying because it's so beautiful. Like I don't even know how to say it because like I don't know, like it's just like I kind of relate to it, but then I kind of didn't.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like I think I like it though. I like the movie.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Mm-hmm.
The cast was chef kiss.
Mm-hmm.
I love the cast.
I think it's got I really like the outfits, and I think it was really nice. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't gotten to the wedding scene yet. I'm still at the bachelor party and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I
Same
did
with me
not
with
like
book.
it. Actually, speaking of the bachelor party,
Mm-hmm.
on chapter 9 for part 2, one of the characters who hosts the bachelor party for Colin, I don't even know if they're friends or not because he doesn't seem like a
Bernard.
friend. Bernard,
I think
yeah,
it's
he
Bernard. Yeah.
actually says the N word.
Oh,
What?
He
Really?
does. It's literally
Well, who wrote
on
the
the
book?
it's on the page of the first page of the chapter.
Wilden.
And he
Oh.
says N in macaw. Like Macau, not macaw. Macaw. That's a bird. And it's
See,
and he's Asian, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
why did he need to
but why did he say that though? We
out of
didn't talk to the
excitement?
author.
I don't know.
I feel that's
Interesting.
there's pretty a lot of like I think I think racism is a term
Hmm.
also that can be used for this book. And
Yeah.
then but I also would say like assumptions because like I remember in first chapters like when it's like in 1980s like when Eleanor and her
Yeah.
children went to like London is it or someplace in the Europe and like the hotel manager like assume her
Mhm.
characteristics based on her looks, based on her Chinese ethnicity. So I think because I think the background is also like during like what's it called, Cultural Revolution in China. That's why there's like a lot of like assumptions and things. Like
Yeah.
there's like a lot of like racism inside. I think it's racism and like stereotype, like they stereotype a lot, like the Asian in general.
Asianism.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
there's like a lot of racism going in there. Especially, I don't know if this is on topic, but there's a lot of racism in, communities, Asian communities, all like
True.
communities, Black communities, all communities, strictly by the color of our skin.
True.
If you have I feel like I think in Thailand somewhere they have like lightning creams and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
that's
speaking of that, like I think in Asia, I don't know whether it's in like the whole Asia or is it like Southeast Asia only. People would prefer lighter skin, and well, like I think as a like and like as like our generation see a problem in that concept but then like the older generations don't see a problem with that, and I think it's very hard to change the current culture. It's just that our generation have to start like striving to change that like stereotype or like
Yeah.
general thing.
I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like a problem. I feel like there are a lot of racial slurs in this book
Yes.
that I'm seeing, especially from Bernard. He's just a character.
Mm-hmm.
He's just and also the problem with reading the audiobook, it's just because like sometimes they'll mention the translations, but at the same time sometimes they don't. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit confusing, especially since you don't really know the language.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think for me, I kind of know it. That's why I was like really familiar to the accent. No, not the audiobook. Like accents are not that great, but then I still, I still catch it. And then like the slangs used in the books are. I don't know if the author himself has like is experienced in this like in the society or he did like massive amount of research, but it was a good amount of like connection that I could make like because I live in Malaysia for so long, that's why like some slangs I was like familiar with, and I think it did a good, well, not a good job but like a decent job with it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is a literature piece, like it's used as a literature book in our school as well. That's
Really?
why, yeah, I think it is. Like when I was studying Asian literature last year, first semester, Crazy Rich Asians, like the book was like one of the options for literature reading. But then it's because it's very mainstream and popular. Like most of the kids didn't choose it. I didn't choose it either. But like if you really so like because I know that it's like a literature book, I kind of read it in like a literary way. That's why I was able to
Yeah.
catch some like I think well like yeah, like there's a lot of aspects that you can discuss within the book. Yep.
Yeah. And I feel like mainly they probably didn't pick it just because probably everybody watched the movie. You know?
They already know what's happening.
Yeah.
Like The Great Gatsby, I watched the movie before
I
reading the
actually,
book.
speaking of The Great Gatsby, I actually never like watched it. I only read the book. I don't even think I even properly read it, for English. I don't
Slow
can't
down.
really say if I read it or not.
I
You have to
I
analyze it.
actually like The Great Gatsby.
I like
Sorry,
the-
Makayla.
Yeah.
I like it too. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
I like The Great Gatsby.
I think I'll
It's
like
like a
it if
classic.
I wasn't reading it like in school. If
Oh
that
yeah,
makes sense.
Definitely.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
I definitely want to like go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think we just spent too much. I think we spent the whole like almost the. I think at least for my class, I spent the like it was a final semester project. That's why I analyzed almost every single page of The Great Gatsby, like the character development, like the plot, like what is the show. But then I enjoy it though. I truly like enjoyed it. But then I get it like when you mean like if you didn't read it as like a school thingy.
Yeah.
It strips the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the actual book though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, there were things. Let's get to it.
We should.
What were some of the things that you guys liked? Probably my favorite thing is the fact that they changed appearances. Like I feel appearances like throughout the movie and the book. Like Peck Lin, she sounds completely different compared to the movie. Thoughts?
Well, usually when I read books, like I don't read it very carefully on the appearance. I just read it really quickly because like the plot and dialogue matters to me instead of like what the author is trying to describe. But then one thing I like really like about the book is that like it really describes Singapore really well. Like I was able to because we live in Singapore, right? That's what, and then we know some places, and then when like some places came out in like the book, I was like, oh, I know this place. I know what they're talking about. So like I was able to connect to the book, which is really great. Like I think it really plus a lot of points.
Especially, I feel like when they mentioned botanical gardens, in my mind, I was just trying to think of where it could be like located, even though it's like fiction.
Yeah. You can just relate it, like you can see it.
Like I could just think of it. So it was like interesting.
Yeah. I don't know, like the palm trees, the Lau Pa side, and the food and everything. Yeah, it was just like really familiar.
Yeah.
I feel like I've never been to, so it's like one of the scenes when they first arrive in Singapore, the Hawker Center. Have you guys ever been there? Because I've never been there.
You should. Yeah.
I've been there before.
Oh, Makayla, you haven't?
I have.
You have? Okay. Veronica, we're gonna bring you there.
Yeah, we're gonna eat some food over there.
We're gonna eat some food over there.
Bring our books too.
I think it's the most famous hawker center among tourists, right? Is it, Makayla?
Yeah, I think it is.
It is.
Even like going down there. I went down recently with I think somebody, forget their name. I went down there recently, and yeah, there was like expats over there, and I'm pretty sure they brought their family there when people were allowed to come. Yeah,
it's extremely not extreme, but like I feel like it's like very flavorful, like Singapore typical, like I think like maybe more glamorous hawker center. Yeah, there were like a lot of like options to eat, like great Singaporean food. Yeah, you should go there sometime. We can go. We can hang out and like eat there. We should. And then the best time to eat at Lau Pa Sat is nighttime, cause it's super. Like the atmosphere is just different. Like if you eat it at night or like in the afternoon.
Definitely.
I feel like for me, I don't really go to like hawker centers just because it's really awkward to like eat there.
Oh really?
Why do you say that?
I always feel just weird, just there. Like the food is great, but then it's just awkward. And I'm just saying, can I have this and that? And it's like,
oh, okay. I get it.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
I love hawker.
Yeah.
Me too. I wish they had more of them in the States.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have them there.
Yeah, I think it's a culture thing. No, I think it's very. I don't know if it like I know there's street foods in like Thailand, Myanmar, Philippines, but then Singapore just has the like hawker center culture. Like we don't even have like a lot of culture hawker center in Malaysia. Like yeah. So like it's a very special. Like I think it's part of the culture.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. It really depends on like the culture.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's just hawker centers is just really awkward for me. And also, I don't think I go there often enough. I feel it's also because it's like very. I'm always used to eating in a very clean, orderly place. Yeah,
Oh.
environment. So then it becomes just like unusual for me to eat at hawker centers. But then, like during the quest trip, we went to like a few hawker centers, and I still felt awkward. It was just.
Oh really?
It was awkward because we had to go up to people that we didn't know and ask them questions.
Yeah, but I don't think it was just the community because we had to interview like stall workers. But it was just when like after when did we go? After kayaking or something? I don't remember.
I forget.
The thing is, I think there's two places that I can think of right now that is like quite different from like traditional hawker center, which is Lau Pa Sat and a Newton Food Center. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should find a chance to go there sometime. Like look
I've
at the
actually been to the Newton Hawker Center because I live in Newton.
Mm.
But then also like just going back, I just don't go there often. But my brother really likes the Newton Hawker Center for some reason that I don't know why, but he loves it.
They got some good food.
Yeah, actually, in the book they did mention hawker center, and then I think I forgot her name. Colleen's like fiance.
Amarina.
Amarita. I'm sorry.
Let me
about,
find
like,
this out.
Yeah, Amarita. She talked about like how they should go to Newton Hawker Center, and then they said that something like, oh, it's not very Singaporean anymore. Like about like it's very like a lot of the traditional thingy is gone. It's more like a place for expats. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I think she mentioned that, right? I remember that. Wait, hold on. Can you give me a second?
Oh, it's Araminta. Araminta. That's the name.
Araminta. Hold on. Give me a second. Something dropped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think of like the movie, I guess?
I mean, I liked how they incorporated the culture to the movie. Like, you know, it was a nice, beautiful blend of culture and then fantasy. It's kind of like, I don't want to say realistic fiction, but like it kind of is. It has all of those aspects mixed in together.
Also, so something during our quest trip, Michelle, was that we had to learn about the Peranakan culture.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how often they'd actually talk about it in the book.
Yeah.
Really? What's the Peranakan culture?
So basically, the Peruvians are like the native Singapore. Well, they're
not native. They kind of like
but, like,
immigrated from different cultures.
Chinese, Malaysian, and Indian, all like.
And there's also like some European.
Oh yeah,
also.
So
they've all.
You mean like the first generations of Singaporeans?
Probably, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I just call it in a different way. It's like I don't call it Peranakan culture. Maybe. Because I grew up in Malaysia, so like the terms are slightly different.
Oh yeah, it's very They also have a rich hybrid of these ethnic traditions with a touch of Portuguese, Dutch, and Indonesian influences.
Oh yeah,
there is a lot of like mixed racial.
Yeah.
Or like ethnicities kids in Singapore.
Yeah. So I didn't realize they talk about food, they talk about culture and everything. And I feel bad because I wasn't really listening when we were talking. When we were learning about it during the trip, and then now I'm like,
now you're.
Now I wish
You were just like, yeah, whatever. Oh, the book. Oh, it taught me.
But like, I think it was interesting to read about how you've got a lot of like all these rich people. They have so many benefits and everything. Like, I feel like $1 million is probably $100 for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as students.
Yeah,
They
I
could
think.
do whatever.
And like, I was reading while I was listening to, because they've got actually different point of views. So I was listening to when Astrid was buying all these things, and I was just like, it's incredible to me.
Right. Talking about Astrid, I mean, I think the author really tried to portray her character as like different from the social elites in like the book. Like how she said that, like he said that, like, oh, she wasn't like a typical beauty, but then blah blah blah, her posture, her elegance, and whatever it is. And then like she said that, and then he even like the author even mentioned Esther as the person who's not like who's not a person who like buy million dollar
She's more
stuff.
humble.
Yeah, a more humble person. Like she's trying, like the author is trying to portray Astrid as a more humble character, but then I also feel like there's a lot of like aspects that were contradicting because like she was spending so much money on collecting jewelry. I was like,
that's true.
that's like as like person who like, I mean, normal people wouldn't collect jewelries. Like
Collect
even
keyword.
yeah, like where do we get that money?
That's ironic.
So like it was like, yeah, it's like contradicting.
Yes.
Yeah, and also like her husband Michael, like she was just in the movies and even the book too, she was just hiding everything from him. First, like you really shouldn't have that type of relationship, right? Like she was just hiding everything, and then I mean, so was he, obviously. But then it's just like you don't.
I don't know, but do you guys really think that there's these social elites in like Singapore? Because like maybe they do, but like, is it as crazy as them?
Crazy.
Yeah,
I
feel like it is.
There's definitely high class Asians, kind of like Crazy Rich Asians, but then probably not to this extreme, you know? Because I think there's this one part where it's like they're really rich, but then they like try not to show it, you know? So I feel like that's what they do. But then like Crazy Rich Asians, they're wearing like $1 million every day, probably.
Yeah.
You know?
And they have this like bro, I don't even like the Tarula Park. The place where Nick's grandmother
lives. Yeah. I've never heard of it. Yeah.
I searched it up. Apparently it exists.
Oh.
Yeah,
really?
It does exist. Like it does exist. But then I don't think it's open to public. And the place they did the filming for the movie, it's in Malaysia. It's a palace in Malaysia.
So it's supposed to something's not adding up.
Yeah.
This is Singapore. Malaysia?
Yeah, well, it's a movie, so there's no choice. Yeah, but then like yeah, it exists. I think all the places exist in the book. I searched up like the clubs, one of the clubs that was like super hard to get into. It's only for like rich people. I searched it up. It actually exists, but I didn't search up like the membership fees. But like I assume it's super crazy.
Let's try to join it.
Well, if I have the money.
Just casually join it, just
like low-keys get some nice clothes. Yeah. Secretly flaunt our millions.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
Actually, when I was watching the movie, I didn't think these places existed. Especially when Rachel was hanging out with Picklin on the street where they were eating. I didn't know that existed ever.
In a movie?
Yeah, in the movie.
Dude, there's in Chinatown.
Oh.
You know, this is kind of disappointing that you don't know.
I need to teach you about Singapore, bro. I know it's Chinatown. I look at it and I was like, oh, that's in Chinatown. I know exactly where that street is. I even know like the chimes. Is it called chimes? I don't know. Like, do you guys know chimes? Chimes?
Chimes? Oh,
Chimes,
okay.
yeah.
I heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chimes.
that's like the
It's
Singapore.
I think Chimes is just because everybody goes there. Like
Mhm.
for some reason, all of the school people, they're always going to Chimes.
But it's super
Yeah.
expensive. Like I cannot like I mean like from time to time maybe I can afford it, but like it's not an everyday place for me.
Yeah.
And it's super far away.
Yeah, that's too far.
That's
It's
true
super
for you.
far. Yeah,
For everybody probably.
yeah. So I kind of understand why the film director want to film it there, because like it's kind of representation of like, I mean like not rich people but privileged people, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
like people
Yeah.
who are able to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But is this open to live comments?
Yeah.
You want to ask your audience to ask questions about the book?
Yes, that's true. What did everybody think of when they were reading it or even watching it? Because people can watch it too.
The judgment.
Awesome.
It'll be a little slow, so why don't we have our own conversation?
Yeah.
And then I think if anybody wants to comment, they can comment.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, what do you guys think about the representation of, you know, your average Singaporean or the average person in Singapore rather than the crazy rich Singaporean? What do y'all think about that?
Mm-hmm.
Did they like describe enough about the normal life, or was it too extravagant where you couldn't get a good view of
Well,
the daily
our
life?
normal life is not as rich as them 1st.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first main point. We don't have the money. Well, secondly, I think. But let me see. Let me think about this. Veronica can go first.
Uh,
Oh, I think the accents. The author really tried on the accents, but then in the movie it was slightly off because like it's so American and British. The only person who had like an accent was Paiklin's mother in the
Mhm.
movie. So yeah, in the book, I think the author really portrayed that unique accent that like Singaporeans have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
For me, for the movie, like normal class versus the crazy rich, it's definitely. I feel like we didn't hear a lot about the normal class. Like
Mm.
we obviously this book is about crazy rich Asians, but that's all we heard about.
Mhm.
Like because it's based in Singapore, so I thought they'd talk about kind of Singapore also, but then they didn't fully do that.
They didn't really talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah. So that's why I think I think it's slightly fictionist too, if that's a word for it. But then it's also that's why it's a literature. That's why there's an
Mhm.
analysis to it.
Mhm.
I know, Makayla, what do you think?
I think that this was more like it didn't get the whole picture of Singapore. I know they tried to with the accents and the hawker
Mhm.
stations, but deep down into the movie, the core of it tried, but it didn't really cover the average
Yeah,
Singaporean life.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. Like because Nick is from he's from Singapore, but he grew up in London or
yes.
something, right? And then
Exactly.
obviously Rachel's from the US show, so she has an American accent.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then they focused on them and then Astrid, she also had a British accent. Colin, I think he also had a British accent.
Oh,
Pretty much
almost
everybody basically
everyone
had.
have it. Yeah.
So it wasn't. It was like it's based in Singapore, but it wasn't very based in Singapore. You know,
Mhm.
There's
you
a
get what I mean?
Singapore background to it, but like not
Yeah.
exactly. I feel like if the characters are like, let's say, like brought up in Singapore, then the author could actually like make more deeper analysis into like Singapore representation as a culture and like the social issues thing.
Mhm.
And then like the author also like put in a lot of like political um figures. Like he wrote about Dato and like Tan Sri, which is like political like I think like powerful figures in Malaysia, and then like some king from Thailand, from I don't know like the British um royals as well. So like there's not many like Singaporean like the modern Singaporean people or like powerful like figures that we could like relate to.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess the conclusion is that like it doesn't really represent Singapore that much,
Mhm.
at least like as people who live in Singapore currently.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, true. I feel like the focus of this movie wasn't for Asians really. It was just it's for everybody else. Or well, not like
American.
not like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asians, but anybody in like Singapore would know that it's completely different. So I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
everyone outside of Singapore who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really know it, which is why everybody probably loved it because, Singapore's not even on the map. So
Yeah.
You had to say it. Yeah, it really isn't. You can't see
it's
it.
it's
Yeah.
not it's not it's not a
Yeah.
dot. It's
It's not even there.
But I think
it's
it's
just
really interesting that the author chose Singapore as a like a background for it because well economically speaking Singapore is
very rich.
very
Right.
Well,
it's
very good.
very yeah it's like a higher standard of like all other Southeast Asian countries. That's why I don't know, maybe it's just maybe Singapore represents the richer people in Asia.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This movie would have been this book would have been different if it was taking place in a different country like
Mm-hmm.
China or
Yeah,
Probably.
absolutely.
Thailand. Very
Mhm.
different.
They would have like a different thing.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I can see that. But it does show, like, for a book and a movie based in Singapore, it does talk about a lot of like Hong Kong and other countries, which I thought
Taiwan, China.
Mhm.
Taiwan, Malaysia, I think.
Yeah, Malaysia as
Yeah.
well.
Malaysia a little bit, right? So I mean, I
Well,
think it's good that they kind of added a little bit here and there, but I think
yeah.
they could have added a lot more to it.
Mhm.
I feel like the reason why they add those countries is because like well first Malaysia is very like historically tied to
Involved.
Singapore.
Yeah.
And then like if you're and then the characters are like ethnically Chinese. That's why they kind of have to relate back to China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, which is like a major like those
Hmm.
places are like a majority of Chinese. That's why
Yeah.
we kind of have to like connect it in a way, in a sense
Mhm.
that people could understand.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
guess it's also like you'd find those types of cultures in Singapore as well. So that's pretty realistic, which I
Mm-hmm,
liked. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting question, but it's like a more deeper side. But then, like, I realized there's a lot of like assumptions about how female who got married should be. Like, like, should you be like like a wife that like adhere to your husband's like society?
Wishes and stuff.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
wishes, or like should you be a person like more American? Because like I'm sure like even right now in our generations there are a lot of people who believe that like once you have a husband or once you get but once you get married, like you need to settle down instead of like pursuing your passions. I think they mentioned it in a movie as well, but like in a more American way, it's like, oh, chasing the American dream, like chasing a passion, do whatever you want. Like a married life would not like chain me, will not chain me to like something else. But in Asia, I think like there's, well, not a like, I think there's just like an expectations for females to like adhere to your husband. Like, yeah, like if you get married, you should you would want to like settle down and take care of your kids. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I'm gonna go first if that's okay, Makayla. For me, I think definitely a lot of Asian cultures are very set on like arranged marriages.
Mhm.
So a lot of books we hear, like I'm sure Indian culture, Asian culture, they all, have arranged marriages. And I think that I guess it would be okay if it were the 1800s or, in the past, but I mean, I don't hear it now, and I don't know if it's probably still happening somewhere in the world. It's still happening.
Mhm.
But I feel like people have moved past that. So, I don't know. For me, it was a little bit sharp. And this isn't just for arranged marriages, too, but like, you said that the arranged, you know,
Mhm.
the, the settling down, I feel
Mhm.
like society has also moved past that,
Mm.
right?
Well,
Kind of. So.
Well, I don't. You know what? With that, it actually depends on certain places you are, because if you're out, if you're in America, or like you're out in the South where traditional customs you can't really go away or you'll be looked frowned upon. I think it's also dependent on where you are and who you are around, because that has a lot to do. But like if you're like in New York, nobody really cares. They just want the job to be done.
mhm.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it does setting true, and like small towns,
Mm-hmm.
it might make sense. Yeah.
And
But I feel
cousins.
like the Peranakan culture, there was arranged marriages, I think. And
Yes, they
like a
were.
lot of the women, they had to stay at home, and they had to, obviously cook the food, they had to sew, they had to do their own activities in like the house.
Mhm.
So it seems when I was listening to the history of the Peranicans, it was kind of sad, to see these women,
Mhm.
like, I'm not going to say waste their life because they're not really wasting it, I
Mhm.
guess, but they're probably like not fulfilling their potential, if that makes sense,
Mm,
which I think for me, it
exactly.
was a little bit sad to see that such traditions
Mhm.
exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, like while I agree that like a lot of people, especially our generations, like younger children, are like basically how is it, influenced by the internet or like influenced by the Western education that like, oh, girls should not
Work.
like you're not, you're no longer expected to fulfill the expectations to settle down and not chase your dreams. But then I feel like there's still traditions that are embedded in a lot of the culture, like arranged marriage and like like transitioning from like a person who works to like a housewife. I think those kind of things still exist like deeply in our like in a lot of like Asian culture. Like I know that in India there's still like arranged marriage, but I don't know if like know a Netflix show like I forgot what's it called, but like space, oh, Indian matchmaking.
Mm-hmm. I saw
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, and then like because like I'm surrounded by a lot of like Indian friends as well, so like arranged marriage is still like a thing, but I think it's not as like serious or
Common.
intense like as
Hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now people are just more um how to say this, like courageous to like pursue what they want and stick to
Yeah.
their dreams. Well, I don't know though, but like eh.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
like that way though.
Mhm.
I was gonna say something and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
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 Let's go back to the book though.
Mhm.
Although we're talking about things that relate to the book, which is good.
Yep.
You know. I have a question for you guys.
Mhm.
What did you guys think of the characters?
That's a hard question.
That's
That's what we do with analysis and
Whew.
things.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically analyzing this, you know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think, well, I do not understand Nick's intention in trying, like, of saying, um, I don't like, okay, starting from like a person view, like an emotional standpoint, like if my boyfriend is filthy rich and I don't know his parents until like we're gonna get married or like until 2 years later, that's a red light. I feel like that's a red light. And
Yep.
in a airplane, I think, or not in an airplane, but somewhere, like when Astrid, like not Astrid, oh my gosh, Rachel asked him about like his family background. Oh, how should she, like, what should she do, like in front of his mother, and like, oh, you never told me about like your family background, your financial thingy, and he said that like, oh, it's their money, it's not mine. Well, although like I admire that kind of like thinking, but then I feel like if you're okay, being rich and being filthy rich, it's like completely different thing.
Mhm.
And I think you just need to like be. I think their relationship. I don't know. Like their relationship is not as ideal as. It's not
Strongest.
yeah, the strongest one. Like it's not something that I want in my own life. I don't know. I think it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah. And the fact that
Yeah.
Rachel didn't even care to ask for the past 2 years of their relationship, I was like, what's wrong with you? Like,
2
That's
years.
That's
yeah,
Mhm.
and not knowing your like your boyfriend's financial situation is just like,
Like, do you even know him?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I
He
know.
was like basically living like a double life because he
Yeah,
was like
Exactly.
normal middle class with Rachel, and then his actual life, his like family, he's like you know, filthy rich, which is
I'm
like,
surprised they got married. Like, kind of
yeah,
like
they
on that
yeah,
intro,
he proposed. Yeah. Hmm.
I was kind of like, okay, but he didn't tell you the truth, so that was interesting. That was
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah, and like there's this one thing in the book.
Mhm.
I think in the movie, Rachel is like asks him like how rich you are in the movie. I think
Hmm.
I'm phrasing it wrong, but then Nick was like, "Oh yeah, we're well off in Singapore, or we live comfortably, or something." That actually never happens in the book. I don't know if that's actually in the movie.
I
Is
think
it? It might
Yes,
be.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Maybe.
But like basically the actual movie, the actual airplane scene in the book is totally different compared to the book like movie.
the movie, yeah.
It's actually really different.
Airplane scene. I don't remember. I just remember the movie one. Like, yeah, I remember the movie one. The airplane scene, like what's this? Oh my gosh, the sweet.
Yeah, she was shook.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think in the book, Rachel actually knew they were flying like suite class or something, and he was like, "How can you possibly afford this?" And he says, "Oh yeah, I have like millions and millions of
uh huh,
miles."
uh huh. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
It's just like
that's in the book, right?
that it's in the book, yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird now that I think about
Yeah.
it.
Like
Yeah.
miles exist. I totally understand that, but then like
Do
you
you
can't
really?
possibly afford a suite on just miles.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's
Right.
okay. Maybe we'll afford it in like 40 years later. Like if we fly,
He must be flying a
Yeah.
lot, actually.
Mhm.
That
Wait, do these kind of plane really exist?
They probably do.
I think they do. They do.
They probably do.
Awesome.
I want to ride one.
That should
Honestly,
be
yeah,
your
just
goal.
a bucket list.
Yeah, actually. Oh my gosh, it's so expensive though.
Yeah. Also, the flower that was blooming in the grandmother's yard, or
That
I don't
Yeah.
know, do those exist? Are
I
those
don't know,
actually flowers?
wait,
I
what's
don't
the
know what it's
flowers-
called.
What's the flower's name again? We should search it up.
Okay, let me go to part 2 because that's
The flowers in Crazy Rich Asian.
part 2.
Let me search that flower up.
We're all just looking.
Oh, it actually exists though. It's a cactus.
It's a
What?
cactus?
It's called
You know the
tanhua,
night-
right? Tanhua.
Oh,
I'm looking for it.
It's a tanhua flower.
Oh
don't know.
wait, it's not part 2. Sorry.
It's okay. It's tanhua. Do you guys think? Well, when I was reading the flowers, actually my brain was like analyzing too much because of English classes. But then I was thinking like, is it a type of symbolism that the author is trying to like use?
The flower?
Because, yeah, the flower.
maybe
Because
foreshadowing.
why? Yeah, actually, I was like when I was reading, I was like, is this a symbolism? Is it something? There must be something about it because like, why that flower out of all other flowers?
True.
It could have been a rose.
It is the tanhua, by the way. It is.
Yeah.
That's correct. So
I don't know. What do you guys think about like the meaning of like blooming only at night? And it's very, very rare. I think so.
Honestly, I feel like that's definitely foreshadowing to like
That's something.
to the fact that in the movie she leaves Nick, and then the grandma's like, no, don't go after her, and then I feel like it's that happens at night, you know.
Yeah.
So the time that blooming at night could be like
Realization.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know if it mentions in the book though, because you know I'm not there.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know.
yeah,
I feel like
interesting.
well, while the relationship is not the best that I want,
Nope.
but I feel like it's amazing that they could like well, no, not amazing, but like when Nick was able to like not was able, but like he still hold on to her, but even like there's some disapproval about her family, like Rachel's family status. And then the mahjong scene in a movie, I don't know if that happens in the book as well, but I think it's very well.
That was good.
It's very it's very well. How do you say this? Directed.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody was impressed with that. I was impressed with that. I didn't understand it, but that was impressive.
It is impressive. I think it's because I understand mahjong. So I was like, oh, that's impressive.
I passed it.
Did you watch the movie, Makayla?
Yeah, I seen the movie. I liked it. Like, you know, it was good.
Awesome.
What is the mahjong?
At first, I thought Rachel was kind of weak. Not to be like, not weak, but you know, I thought she was the type of girl who would just leave it all for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She would back out after the backlash she received. But no, she's not.
But no, that mahjong scene, you know, really changed my mind about her.
That's true. Yeah.
It, like character development.
Even in the book, like she takes all these like beatings, but then never really does anything about it. Even like in the book and stuff, you can hear them like other people just talking about how she's like a gold digger and she's doing this and that.
Real.
But then she never really like steps up for herself. Just like,
yeah. Okay, talking about gold digger, it's actually still a thing in Asian culture. Like okay, like so for example, like if a younger man marries a older woman, some people would say that, oh, the woman must be rich, or like if the man is not as good looking as as people expect it to be, they will say like, oh, the man must be rich, something like that. There's like a lot of like speculation about this kind of relationships, which is, well, I kind of get it, but like, I was like, well, yeah. So I think I think the book is like a more exaggerated like representation of the Asian thingy that we have right now. I mean, at least I think it does exist.
Yeah, I think it still exists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
So besides like the wedding scene,
Mm-hmm.
what were y'all's favorite parts?
Mahjong scene, and then
Like besides the mahjong.
What else? I like the scene where they were doing Bible study. Was it? I forget they were reading
In the
I like that
beginning.
because that really like set personalities.
True.
So it's very
And like I feel like they definitely
insightful.
do that a lot in like Asian cultures. They just have Bible studies like that. Probably not to that extreme, but
They were just talking about.
They weren't even talking about the
With their
Bible.
God.
Yeah. It's not even Bible study, it's gossip study.
Exactly.
With a Bible on their hand.
Just an excuse to get together.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's true. And also, one thing I found was that Nick's mother, Eleanor or something, travels. Eleanor?
Oh, to Sunshine? When the oh my gosh.
No, so like she travels right when they arrive to Singapore.
Yeah.
When does that happen in the movie? I don't remember.
No.
Like I'm pretty sure she basically greets them at the party, but then
right,
because I remember Eleanor was at the party, but in the book she's not.
she's in Sunshine.
She doesn't actually appear in the party or anything. She's
Yeah.
traveled, which I don't know why they didn't add that because I think that would have been interesting. But
well, the movie's only 2 hours long, so like it'll be too long.
That's true. That's true. 2 hours. Wow, that's a lot longer than I thought.
2 hours? Yeah, it's actually
short.
pretty long.
I thought it. Yeah.
Is it short for you? Okay.
I mean, I just felt like the movie was short. I mean, they could have. I don't know. They could have
made it a little bit longer, yeah.
but like maybe less like screen, like scene, more like scene mix. I mean, what's called transition. Like I don't know. I feel like it needed better transition.
I get it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you guys not think like the first chapter of the book, like when they set that, and even the first scene of the movie, like when they act out when Eleanor and her sister, I think, was in London when she first received the racism. Like, why do you think that's necessary? I don't get that point. Like,
I think it's just an introduction as to Nick's British upbringing, maybe, but
oh yeah,
right, that would make sense. But then the other thing is, it doesn't make sense for like it to appear as well because they're already really rich, and then they show it. Like, I think if they explained it throughout the movie and they just didn't have that scene, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, because we're just getting Eleanor talking to the concierge or whatever his name was. And it doesn't really show any significance because even though Eleanor is a huge part of the book and obviously the movie, that scene was a little bit useless.
Yep. Actually, I was just thinking about it. Like, there must be something that the author wants to convey.
Yeah. Maybe he wanted to convey that, even though they're rich, just by their appearance, you won't, they'll still get judged.
Yeah. Wait, actually that makes sense. That is a good explanation.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that, but you know what? If they didn't add that as a scene, as the very end, the first scene, and they added it as maybe a flashback to like the way Nick went to London and was taught there, that I feel like that would make a little bit more sense for me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like rather than the opening scene, it was just like a flashback, you know.
But imagine, but like, think about it. So basically, Nick was down there in London, and he's not around like Asian people who are in his economic class. So he's taught like what's it called? Not like a rich person, yeah, like a normal boy. So he's more down to earth. Do you think?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if
that makes sense. Yeah. But it wasn't. That's why Eddie was such a contrast to Nick, right? Eddie was such like, my gosh, I can't find the word. Arrogant person. Even though they grew up together, I think Eddie grew up in Hong Kong, and then like Nick grew up in like London, and then Astrid grew up in
London
somewhere else.
Well.
London as well. So there's like such a contrast between them because not people. I think during that era, like the Asia, like China was starting to strive in economy. That's why they look. I think the people there just not even in China, like maybe in Asia, like they look upon people who are richer than like normal citizens. That's why like they kind of built their arrogance and like pretentious thingy.
Also, I feel like also a main point as to like why the movie was created is because nobody really thinks Asians are really that rich, right? So that's also why I feel like they did this, to make them look. But I feel like I don't know. It was also just a really big exaggeration
of the wealth.
Yeah, like
I wish they would have did it more subtle. He would have did it.
Yeah,
out there
because like even Alibaba, like Jack Ma wouldn't like go like, yo, bro, I'm the high social class. Like even him doesn't do that. Like who else would though? Like even if you're in upper class, I feel like people who are truly in the upper class would not do that because they would be more humble. People who are slightly higher than middle class would do that because they're trying to show that I really have that money and the status and therefore I deserve to show to everyone. I mean, I don't know. That's just maybe that's a stereotype. Maybe I'm just stereotyping, but like
yeah.
The more money you have, the less willing you are to be all flashy with it.
I don't know where I heard it from. I think it was like my parents or something. The richer you are, it's like, why do you need to flaunt your wealth? You know,
point, yeah.
Because like you're rich, who are you proving it to? You know, you don't need to prove it to anybody. But then like people who
average,
like, yeah, I guess middle class or lower class, they want to they don't want to appear poor or appear normal income and stuff. They want to look richer.
Yeah, but
so that's
there's a lot of people like that. Yeah. But then like, yeah, I mean like we're just generalizing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I believe there's people like that who doesn't want to appear poor to the society.
Yeah.
Damn, we'll really be analyzing this. We can get into the in classes.
I think my English teacher would be proud.
Yeah. We should send this video to our past English teachers.
You know what? Like exemplary.
Exemplary.
A+. Yeah. But it's nice to talk about it because I feel like I hear Crazy Rich Asians a lot, but then I never hear it talked about in depth. Like I hear, oh, it's a great movie, and oh, it was a pretty good book, but then I never hear about like what you like about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're all here today to
Damn.
analyze.
Okay. I think is this a joy of like the enjoyment of like joining a book club, whether it's online or like YouTube, because like you get to really talk about it.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like I think.
Oh, Makayla just dropped.
Oh, oh, she probably had internet problems.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh well.
I'll text her. But yeah, that's why I created this book club. I called it Asians Under a Typhoon.
I should join it.
You should join it. It's on Goodreads.
Oh,
So
but like I didn't
she's
do
back.
good review.
Something happened.
Something happened. You're
The
back.
internet.
No,
Welcome
no,
back. We were just talking about my book club, Asians Under a Typhoon. You know,
like
like
Okay.
how did you come?
I don't know how I came up with it. I was thinking, okay, this is like I want to talk about Asian representation books, right? But then this isn't just for an Asians only book club, like anybody can join it, right? I mean, maybe I'm stereotyping. It's on Goodreads, so if anybody wants to join it, it's down in the description box below for anybody to check it out.
Come and join, people. Is your audience from like the America? Like
YouTube I do not know because I'm still relatively small. So I don't fully know. But I think I don't specify who needs to join and what, you know. I
understand.
And anyone can join. So
yeah,
right. I think this was a great discussion.
It is. You should do more of this. Maybe like different people.
And I think for the next book, I'm thinking of doing like a poll or like on Instagram you can do like what should we read next, and then people can like comment down below and then we can see.
Actually, I have a recommendation.
Yes, hold on. I gotta write this somewhere.
I'll show you the book. I have the book.
Oh, okay. She already has it. I don't think I have this.
This is actually a book recommendation from my history teacher, Mr. Hughes, because I'm really passionate about like not passionate, but like I'm very interested in like
what happened.
Oh, I'm on the screen.
You're on the screen now.
Okay, so I'm really passionate, not passionate, but I'm really interested in like Malaysian, like the society of like just general society in Malaysia, and my Mr. Hughes knows about that, so he recommended me this book over summer. I bought it. The Weight of Our Sky from Hannah Alkoff. She's actually a Malaysian writer.
I saw that at the store, the bookstore. I looked at it.
Weight of the Sky.
Really? Oh, it's actually so good. Like,
what is it about?
Okay.
Yeah, what is it about?
Well, do you guys know about the 1969 riot in Malaysia? Like, if you guys know it. Yeah, so basically it's like just a brief review about the 1969 riot in Malaysia, which basically set it's like a stepping stone of like the whole constitution of Malaysia, or like the rules we have in Malaysia right now. It's like because the Chinese party won the election, or like they won more election seats. I think I'm not too sure, but then like the Malays were well, not triggered, but like there's definitely some like political tension in Malaysia, which created a riot in like 1969 May May 13. Like, and when I was in Malaysia, I learned about it a lot. Like, we had to learn about it because it's such a significant period. And this book used the background of 1969 riot to talk about like a girl character who had OCD. So like she was battling OCD, plus the riot as a background. She got separated from her mother, and it's like her adventure with to find her mother, and it actually shows the perspective between both the Chinese and the Malays, which was really like I was like really wow. Wait, I've never thought about this before. Like, oh, wait, it's like I don't know. It's like an open like it opened my eyes. So it's such a good book. Like it's a good collection as well. Like I would keep it. Like I'm
Is
not.
it a series?
No, it's only the first one. She's making a second book. I don't know if it's a series though. Or a second book.
Okay.
But it's a
Very
literature.
cool.
It's so nice. I was
Okay.
so into it.
We will consider it. But I think for now, what I'm gonna do is have anybody request a book review. I mean,
Yes.
a book like a book to read, right?
Uh-huh.
And then we'll see, and then we'll like narrow it down. You know.
Yep.
So I'll add it to the list.
You should.
Ember is next.
Yeah.
Ember.
What books are you guys reading right now? And like besides like Crazy Rich Asians.
I'm about to read a book for an ARC, an advanced reader copy. I forgot the name, so.
I don't know. Makayla, are you reading anything right now?
Well, I just got this book. I think just got it. It's called The Blood and Bones. Not Blood and Bones.
Children of Blood and Bones.
Lovely Bones?
Oh, no, not Lovely Bones. The Children of Blood and Bones.
I've been meaning to read that book. I
just
actually
got
want
it.
to read that.
I'm about to read it soon.
That's
after I finish my annotations.
Annotations.
Yeah.
You're gonna annotate it. I think there's a second book too that just came out, so
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I think it's called something.
Yeah.
Like
Smoke, Blood and Smoke or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Of Smoke and Blood.
Smoking.
That's something I do want to interest. But I read. But I heard that the second book is not as good as the first book.
Mm-hmm. That seems to happen. Have y'all read the newest Twilight? I mean,
No,
I never really looked into the Twilight.
I really want to get that. But
it's called Midnight Summer or something.
Midnight Sun.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay. The one thing I have to say about Twilight is I actually loved the books. I think the books were fantastic by far. But the movie, I'm out.
I like the movie. I watched it a lot of times.
Say I watched it like
no, I get it though. There's so much controversy about it.
Yeah.
Like not controversy, but like a lot of people critique it.
Everybody talks
looking
about
back on them. The CGI was it was horrible. It was
It's
horrible.
not great.
Why was the baby looking like that?
Especially the fighting scene in like the Breaking Dawn Part 2. I love it. Absolutely.
Oh, I love my favorite scene part of the book movie was the baseball. Hands
It
down,
was
the best.
dramatic.
The best.
Oh my god.
It was like you hit it gently and then it'll go flying and then they'll go flying. And it's just like and then you'll just see them zoom by. It's like so funny.
I love it.
Maybe we love it because like we saw it when we were younger and it's
that's true.
That's why. I think it's very actiony. That's why it's exciting.
But honestly, I feel like for me, I love action. This is probably bad and not great for someone like me, but I love action. Sometimes I like movies with just a little bit of blood and a little bit of language. So I like that. But Twilight, that was too basic for me.
I like Twilight,
I like
Twilight. I think it was just funny because Edward was sparkling and twinkling.
Sparkling. That whole scene in the woods was just a hot mess in itself.
Oh my god.
Movie wise.
And also just the movie in general. So I'm all for Twilight books.
Well, the only thing that I couldn't accept was that Bella couldn't decide between two men. I was like, bro, make me decision. What's your problem? That's the only problem I had. But like the other thing, I was like, I love it.
I'm not gonna lie, I was all for Team Jacob. I wasn't really Team Edward. It's because of the books, though. The books, I love Jacob, so that's probably why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, such a great discussion.
I love it.
Wait, this is like a Socratic seminar. Oh my god.
Oh gosh, no.
No, it's not. We don't go there.
Okay, we
Let's
should. Well, if this was really a Sakari round, the next thing we'll do is like grade ourselves in a rubric.
stop.
Analyze
Oh,
ourselves talking.
just be like, did we talk about this in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Just go back and then like,
Did you invite people to the conversation?
yeah.
Oh my god.
Not enough people, I guess. That's okay. We're small. We'll grow.
You should make this into a school thing, Veronica. Well, I just got this so serious. This is supposed to be a thing, the book thingy.
I mean, okay. The one thing I like about school, especially when I was younger, was when there was only one class, so you went to school and you stayed in that class and you were taught all the curriculum in that class. So they'd actually have book clubs. And that's what I liked about it. But then, in high school and in middle school, you never really have it that much.
You mean like
Right.
did you spend primary school, like elementary school, in our school right now?
Yeah, I did.
No wonder.
Yeah.
I came in like 2 years ago, so I couldn't relate.
Yeah. But I think in general, book clubs are not common for school.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah. But then like imagine having like a Zoom meeting after school like this to talk about like the current books you're reading, or maybe we can decide on the same book. I don't know. This is just like a thing that
That's
just came up
pretty
to my mind.
Yeah. But I feel like
Good
we'd
idea.
have to like get people who really love reading, and I don't know that many people in SAS, except for like a really specific few.
Even I wouldn't call myself like a really, well, I mean I read every day, but then like I'm not like as like a big reader as Veronica is. Like you like really
I'm on another level. I'm on
are.
another
Veronica's totally on another level. Like I don't know. What about you, Makayla? Do you like read like intensely or like just
I
a
read
habit?
casually. Like
Yeah.
when I have time, I definitely read like a fiction book or like a book. But normally I just read not as heavily as Veronica, probably like a third.
Yeah. I mean, I read every day as a habit, but
yeah,
like
every day.
yeah, but
reading.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I only started reading this much after I created my YouTube channel. So like last year, I wanted to read 30 books. You know what? I only read 29.
that's still a good amount.
Girl, that's just one book off.
What's disappointing is the fact that I held that book off until December, and then I went on Christmas and totally forgot about that book. So I was so close.
Oh,
But in general, I never read that much. Like this is like a new me,
I think
Like,
like
I used to never.
I think it's because the YouTube channel holds you accountable. That's why.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. And also because like I made excuses back in the day, It's like I would always read when I was a lot younger, but then we reached like middle school and then high school, and then it's like, who's got the time?
We should read more collectively, like as a group.
And it's sad because I do wish that school kind of incorporated different books to it, like sophomore English when we read The Hate You Give.
Yeah.
Like I like that, and I wish we did more of it, to talk about controversial stuff. But then all we did was read. All we did was read The Hate You Give, and then we went on to like The Crucible.
Exactly. Why didn't we like really talk about?
Yeah,
that's
I
one
think.
thing.
I think. Oh, okay. Talking about school thingy. I think the main problem with reading is that like we read, we analyze, we either analyze it, we make like an analysis, a bibliography, or we do an essay about it, or we have a Socratic seminar about it, and that's it. And like,
That's true.
well, what's the point? I
Yeah.
mean, it assesses our like critical thinking, a thing, blah 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 stuff. But then like, does it? I mean, it kind of make a change, but then it's not as impactful that we want it to be. We should talk
Yeah.
about like this. Yeah.
Yeah. But the problem is for like school books, you don't really talk about it in like a Socratic way. It's more like you discuss like point by point, but then also at the same time, people are spark noting the books. You know,
Yeah.
so they're
Yeah.
not genuine. They're not reading it for genuine
Yeah.
reasons.
Because
Mhm.
we don't really get to choose, you know? We don't get to choose what books. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
read The Crucible. Like,
No.
okay.
Did anybody?
But how does this apply to my real life, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Except for
Michelle
the
and
disgust I felt when
talking
watching
about-
that movie.
Yeah. And The Crucible.
Couldn't
Anyway.
that
I know.
movie.
I didn't do Crucible. I did. Well, is it 10th grade? 10th grade? 10th. I read Joy Luck Club, and then I wasn't. I didn't get to choose. Like, I mean, because it was randomized, so I didn't get to choose like the hate you give. So I read it outside of class, and then we did Great Gatsby. That's all.
Oh, wow.
And then, but we had lessons on like
Mhm.
American Constitution, like because mine is like those combined studies, like American studies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
That's
it's like
probably
combined.
why.
Yeah.
Because you got to choose, but we didn't get to choose. We were
Oh.
forced into reading. Like, okay, The Hate You Give and The Great Gatsby, I did want to read, but
Yeah, like
did we need to read The Crucible?
The
That's the
Crucible was
question.
not. It was not. It wasn't
Okay,
meant to be.
Actually, the better question yet was, did we need to watch the movie too? Like,
The movie was. What the heck? Horrible.
that,
Cannot.
0 out of 10. The worst movie I have ever seen in my life.
it's so bad.
The War Team. I think I heard that before. Oh my gosh. Did I watch that? I don't know.
The Crucible, don't watch it. Don't even think
It's
about
not
it.
even worth it. Like,
Wait,
Expel it
is it-
from your mind.
Is it because is it truly a bad movie, or is it because you have to analyze it?
It's just so bad.
I feel like it's truly a bad movie.
There was like
That
there was
one
an-
scene where that girl was acting blind. I can't.
see, and then
If I was her, it
Oh.
would have been.
Okay.
and like also the problem was there was like an age gap,
Oh my gosh.
but
John
it was
Proctor.
John and like Anne or something.
I forget that
Annie.
girl's name.
I don't remember. There's a reason I didn't remember John Proctor either, but there was an age gap, and it was an appropriate age gap. It was
He had a wife
age gap, and he had a wife
and
too,
2 children.
and 2 children.
Oh
Disgusting.
my gosh.
So that's why you don't want to think about it, Michelle. So we'll move on.
Okay.
Let's just back away.
Move on back to the book.
The actual topic at hand.
Oh yeah, all about the.
I feel sorry,
Well, I feel
viewers. We
Wrapped
could.
up the discussion of
Yeah.
like, Crazy Rich Asians, which was a good discussion. A+ everybody.
A
Yay.
plus. Send this to
Even
English teacher.
though we didn't actually read the book, I didn't finish the book. But Kayla, I know you didn't read.
I mean, I read a little bit of it,
You
but
read a
like I
little bit.
couldn't finish
That
it.
counts. That's true.
A long time.
It's also because like
So much stuff to do. Busy.
adaptations. Oh
Cool.
god.
If we do this every week, we would be motivated to read one book a week.
A week. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
also
then,
that'd
I don't
be
know.
like too much.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is why I'm
all
sticking
this work
to
they like
once
to
a
give us.
month. But
Once a month.
at first I chose August 14th because I thought, that's like in the middle of the month. Now I'm next for September, I'm gonna try and plan it on like a holiday. So I hope September has a holiday.
September has a like 1 day holiday.
Perfect. When is that? I'm gonna find out.
Oh, it's Student in Service Day. Faculty in Service Day.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
I'm gonna plan my next book club on that day.
Good. Yay.
So tomorrow, let's wrap this up. Tomorrow I'm going to send out an Instagram comment. No, not what is it called? A story.
Oh. Mhm.
We're gonna talk about what books we want to read, and we'll decide from there.
Awesome.
Also on
All
Goodreads,
right.
so check the Goodreads out.
Check out. Do you want to
Basically-
say your Instagram?
Yeah. Oh. Okay. I'll type it. No, everything will be down in the description box below. Okay.
Yes.
It's pretty easy, pretty organized because I can't do unorganized. That's just gives me problems. So yeah, the Goodreads will be down below. So if anybody wants to check it out more, they can check it out and join because we're gonna talk about more books. And also, I'm gonna do like a poll on Goodreads too. So that forces you to join too.
Okay. Awesome.
Join. Yes, I had a great conversation. Terrific.
Yes.
Thank you, Makayla,
Awesome.
Michelle, for joining me this late hour. Really late.
Yeah, and it's in Singapore. If you guys still don't know.
Yes, it's 11 p.m. But it's fine. It's good for like outside viewers, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like
Good to
either
know.
in the morning or in the night.
Mm.
Or in the
Mhm.
afternoon. But I don't
Yep.
know where it would be in the afternoon. So that's not in my mind.
Dedication, Veronica. Dedication.
But yes, thank you everybody for joining me.
Thank
And
you.
I will see you
Thank
guys
you.
hopefully I'll post the video soon. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining. Bye guys.
Bye.